Systems thinking allows you to see both the pain points and the potential of every situation. It's a skill that you can cultivate in yourself and that you can help to bring out in others. The key is to approach with curiosity and a mindset prepared to connect people and ideas. Ee Ting Choo is co-founder and chief operating officer at ConnectingDNA. Join us as Ee Ting shares her journey of technology transfer and entrepreneurship and viewing health through a whole system lens. I'm Michelle Ong, and this is Steam Powered. Good afternoon, Ee Ting. Thank you so much for joining me today on Steam Powered. I'm really looking forward to speaking with you about your journey.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for your invitation. I hope I can share more about my journey and help more women in their career choices.
Absolutely. Like everybody's perspective contributes something to somebody, and this is why these conversations are really important to have. So, getting started with your journey, when you first entered STEM and STEAM, you started in chemical engineering. But, what motivated you to study that field?
What motivated me? Okay, this is really funny. So initially, I had health issues, so I wanted to get into the health area. So I actually wanted to be a doctor, wanted to study medicine. But soon I gave up on that because I realized that I am scared of the smell of blood. So then the next best course, right, to go to will be chemical engineering because of the prestige of the name. So then without really knowing what it was, I entered chemical engineering, in university.
Not related to health, though.
Yeah, exactly. Because I wanted medicine, but I just was very afraid, so I gave up on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, a lot of people find that, it's also about, not knowing what you are into or not into until you start trying to explore it.
Yeah.
So, what about chemical engineering has that level of prestige that you perceived when you first started looking into these courses?
Okay, so in Singapore, it's a lot about scoring. So after junior college will be university. So only the top students go into medicine. Then the next best will be chemical engineering. So since I didn't want to do, I mean, I could qualify, but I didn't want to do medicine. So I just went into chemical engineering, not really knowing what it was, but because it had that prestige related to it. So I just did it. Yeah. But when I went in, I thought it's really nice because I actually like chemistry a lot. So yeah, I started and I studied a lot of things.
Yeah. So after that, you started your graduate career in semiconductors and even process development roles. So how did you go from chemical engineer to semiconductors? Because some people wouldn't necessarily understand the connection between those two because one's about electronics, you think it'd be more electrical engineering. Yeah. How did chemical lend to that?
So I was studying chemical engineering and there were a lot of those flows, tanks and all the reactors, all the calculation, and I got really irritated with it. Then one day when I took one course called air pollution control, then I realized that if I go into oil and gas, which is the default path for chemical engineers, there'll be too much particulates that's not good for my airway. Yeah, and because by default I actually have respiratory related issues. Yeah, I always get sensitive nose lah, allergies and all that. So I decided that okay, I'm going to go a different path. Then in the final year when we were given choices to choose the specialization, then I realized that semiconductor, right, they work in a clean room. So with chemical engineering, we actually could specialize to the chemicals related to creating the semiconductor chips. Yeah, so I was actually in the photolithography department doing a lot of experiments on for them to know how can we print even smaller dimensions. Yeah, so that's where I focused my final year project and therefore started my career in semiconductor in the photolithography, which is very, very chemical based department.
Oh, that's fascinating. Because, yeah, for a lot of people, it's like you wouldn't necessarily have that immediate association between chemicals and the circuitry. But that makes sense. Makes perfect sense. So, in your role there, it's called process development. What does that mean?
So we need to print the wafers, the semiconductor wafers. So there's a certain process to it. Like you need to first Actually, it's been 15 years, I forgot the name, but you need to put that film on. Then after that, we need to print. Then after that, we need to develop, just like a camera, Yeah. Then after that, the whole semiconductor thing will be there because of chemistry. Yeah, there's no like drilling and all that. It's really all chemistry. So every later process, we need to optimize it. Yeah, so although my title is process development, my main role actually since the start of my career is technology transfer. Yeah, so in my first company in semiconductor, I actually flew to Milan, yeah, to transfer the technology because my company was ST Microelectronics. So they were actually in France and Italy. So I was in Italy quite a bit, and then I brought the technology back to the Singapore plant. And then we expanded that new technology in Singapore and started the whole production.
That's fascinating. So, what sort of skill set is needed for technology transfer?
Oh, okay. So when I was a young engineer, all I did was just do what the senior engineers told me to do. Like they said, learn this, and I'll just bring back everything. But after that, later in my career, right, when I led projects and all that, actually is really having a keen eye for really details. Yeah, even details down to what sort of lamp, what watt, like for example, the material in, for example, my next job, right, in Illumina, we were actually in USA, San Diego. The humidity was really very low. But Singapore, we know the humidity is very high, like 70%. So I realized that details as important as the material, like the metal, whether is it coated with aluminum, that means to prevent rust and all that, it becomes so important during the transfer process. Yeah, we even had a case, not semiconductor, but Illumina, that well, the fridge, right, in USA, because they already knew that some certain wavelengths will destroy the DNA, right? So they already removed the bulb in the fridge. But we didn't know. We just copied the same model of the fridge and we came to Singapore to buy. But we didn't know about the bulb. So naturally, every fridge comes with a bulb, right? Yeah, when you open, it will light up. And that killed the DNA strands, and then we had zero yield in Singapore. Yeah, when we first started the DNA plant in Singapore. Yeah, so that's why I think keen for details is very important. The second thing that is very important is actually the willingness to go down to work to the lowest level. So when I did transfers, right, I literally started from being an operator. Yeah, where I did every single action with them so that I can know where are the pain points and I can think of solutions so that we can increase the throughput. Yeah, that's what we actually need. So I think these are really the mindset and the kind of like skill sets. Not really skill set, I think really mindset that you're willing to go all the way down to start and then look at every single details. And then after that, when I led projects, it's really the big picture. Are we meeting the budgets? Are we meeting the timeline? Are we improving the processes, throughputs? Yeah, it's very important skill sets.
It
Yeah.
is. And it's basically whole system thinking because when it's transfer, it's not just knowledge transfer, it's also about geographic, environmental, the entire system, how it translates from one environment to another environment and in a different context. So that's absolutely fascinating because often when we do our work, it's as you say, we do what we're told to do. We're very focused in that very narrow operational kind of task, but we lose sight of the big picture and the way that our work interacts with the work of the people in the system with us doing other things. So yeah, it's such an incredibly important skill set, and it's not just applicable to process and plant management. It's whenever you're working with anyone doing
Exactly.
anything.
Yep. I think later in my career, right, when I started to lead transfer projects in Illumina, I think not only technical skills is important, EQ is very important because when I was leading the whole plant setup project, I literally need to talk to every department, like sideways, every department, not only the processes, but also like the logistics, the IT, other departments. Yeah. And then because I lead the project, I need to talk to management. I also need to talk to operators, yeah, so that they can do what I need them to do within the very tight timeline. So I think, yeah, EQ becomes one important part. Yeah, how we talk to different people is
Yeah.
so important. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the communication at all different levels because the operators will need different information, expect information, have different
Mhm.
domain language
Mm.
to the people you want to talk to in management or partners and other vendors. Like all of that has a different language that they use to be able to communicate what they do. It's
Yes.
very important.
When I was young, I mean young engineer, I thought that we need to be fierce to vendors, for example, because that's what the seniors they do. But later in life, I realized that that's nonsense. Yeah, everybody needs to be treated with respect, you know? Yeah, even if we're paying them, they are our vendors, you need to like be able to negotiate certain things in a very amicable yet assertive and how to say respectful way. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny that you mentioned about that because it's such a strange kind of psychology, the way that people treat people within an organization to people partnering or external to the organization. It's like, you're working with these people. They deserve the same level of respect that you'd communicate within your organization and between the levels as outside because you need each other. It's a working relationship and you need to treat it that way.
Yeah, the best part is that because the industry is so small, today they can be your vendors. You can scold them. But if you leave the corporate, you leave your title, sorry, that's it. You are just yourself, you know, you're just a nobody. So maybe you will need their help in the end. So yeah, there's no reason to be harsh on different people. Yeah.
And absolutely, and even with Asian culture, like the guanxi, the reciprocal relationship thing, you'd think that that would carry a little bit more because you're not always going to be in the same position that you are now, and it's about properly relationship building for long term development of relationships.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Industry is small.
it is.
Yeah.
It's not worth the risk to be a jerk.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So from semiconductors, you got into genomics and genetic analysis. And again, like it feels like a very disconnected leap from one of these industries to another. So I'd love to hear about how that transition occurred.
How that transition occurred. So what happened was I was actually in the lab, yeah, for 5 years. Then I was hearing my friends say that, you got a job hop, you know, for your salary to jump. Okay, so then I put my resume out there. So one day when I was still in the clean room, right, in semiconductor, I received a call to say that, they saw my resume and would I like to go for an interview? Then I was like, what company? They said it's a very new company, not in Singapore yet. Then I'm like, okay, so I went. I can tell you the interview was really difficult. The first one was a phone call. Last time there's no Zoom. Yeah, so it was a phone call, and there were like so many people, different people talking, and I was like, okay, I think I might fail the interview. But who knows? The next day I got a call to say that okay, I got to round two. Okay, round two was really difficult. This time it was a video camera interview, and it was 3 hours. And there was a whiteboard there. So I didn't really know what I signed myself up to. So I just went there. And it was 3 hours. Every 30 minutes, different department will interview me. So the first one was actually the biology side. The second one was more genomics. The third one was more mathematics and statistics. And then the next one, I can't remember the sequence, but there was one talking about IT, another one talking in general about like processes and all that. So, oh, another one, chemical structure. I still remember. I had to draw on the board all the chemical structure and all that. So when I came out after 3 hours, right, the headhunter called me and asked me, how do you think it went? I said, I'm not good. It's terrible. I've never done such an interview before. Okay, but the next day, right, she called me and she said, hey, you're actually shortlisted. When can you sign the contract? I was like, what? Then she told me what salary you want. So I just like, you know, because I thought I'm going to fail, so I just gave a like large jump lah in my salary. And surprisingly, they said, yes. Wow. But okay, now hindsight, I finally realized why. Because in Singapore, we are paid in Singapore dollar. Illumina is a US company, they pay in US dollar. So at that time, about 15, 20 years ago, the exchange rate was pretty good. So they actually thought that the jump I requested for was a reasonable amount for their engineers paid there. So they just agreed immediately. So everybody was so okay. I didn't really ask what the job scope was. I just thought that they saw my resume and then it's going to be similar. And so I joined. Yeah, but when I joined, I'm like, oh, this is totally different. Yeah.
That's fascinating because the rigor of that interview process, I mean, for that time, that was quite common in big tech and emerging tech. It was often, it felt like a marathon for a lot of people having to go through all of these, multiple waves of testing, multiple questions. But the breadth of your scope of interviews, that would have been absolutely exhausting.
It is.
Yeah, and even not knowing what the job was that you were actually interviewing for in terms of what you were going to do.
Yeah.
So, it's an interesting leap of faith in, saying, well, I have no idea what this is, but, why not? Let's give it a shot, see what happens.
And there's no manufacturing plant, no presence in Singapore at the time when I did the interview. My first day of employment, I was on Singapore Airlines to San Diego. And yeah, I don't know what gave me that courage. I think it was the pay rise.
That's a good motivator. I mean, we have to be practical about these things. Yeah. So, what did your role end up being once you figured out the lay of the land?
Technology transfer. Yeah, so
Technology
basically
transfer.
I looked everything in the US manufacturing plant, and then I have to learn every single thing down to like what the operators did or what the IT people did, and then what the facilities people. I'll work with them. Like for example, we need to push cargo to the warehouse and then get it shipped out. I even had to like crate things. And then after when the crate arrived in Singapore, I had to climb up the crate to uncrate stuff. Yeah, so really, really everything from the smallest thing that I need to buy a dustbin. Yeah, I also had to do that. So I think that's what didn't know what I signed up for. But when I brought the technology back to Singapore, I thought that was really the most fun thing that I ever did. I did like programming also, but because this job requires us to do a lot of data analysis for large data sets for DNA data, right? I did a lot of programming and I spent a lot of nights figuring out how to do it. And at that time, there wasn't ChatGPT and Google was just starting at that time. Yeah, so I really had to read a lot of like help books and then search help websites, yeah, for
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
And it's quite interesting because it's so uncommon these days for people to be able to take a look at someone and their skills and their abilities, but not in terms of their training, but in terms of those inherent abilities that you can develop over time, and take that chance on you and say, I think you are capable of being able to expand your knowledge and your skill set to be able to encompass an entirely new field, an entirely new domain, and a different way of approaching and applying your skill set to these
Yep.
other areas.
I think it was really my the love of fun. Yeah, I just like to try a lot of new things. So when this thing came onto my plate and I was in US, I was actually alone. I was actually the first employee from Singapore. So I just worked and played. So every time I changed to a new department, I hop around. It's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess it's such a rare opportunity because you were the first employee. It did give you that flexibility and that freedom to be able to explore and try things out and, experiment to be able to figure out what needs to happen and what goes where. And if you're of the personality where you do like the puzzle of being able to figure that kind of stuff out, it's really a place where you can thrive because there are no boundaries for you to limit the way that you think and the way that you do things.
Yeah. So in hindsight, right, I mean, maybe because my fun loving and my willingness to try all the different things, so I guess that was why I got chosen lah. Yeah. Now like in my role in Connecting DNA, I look back, right, when I want to hire my staff, I actually look for more soft skills, more mindset rather than their technical skills. I mean, that's important, but that's not the top priority for me when I look for to hire. Yeah. So I guess that's what my bosses at that time thought of as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is actually a form of risk taking because when a lot of people, they look at something, they go, I need a 1-to-1 match because I can guarantee return on investment because I understand how this works and it's a pattern which I can follow that is reliable and recognized and known. But you can't innovate without taking that risk. You can't see the opportunity for growth or for other perspectives without having that sense of risk taking And it's calculated risk. It's not just anyhow. You're not just randomly choosing to do things risky on purpose. These are calculated risk-taking measures to be able to expand on what you have. And yeah, keeping an open mind about the potential that it could have as well.
Exactly. I think a lot of people think that if they don't take a certain path, they are shortchanging themselves. For example, in my semiconductor, right, a lot of my colleagues, they choose to specialize in the most advanced machine. Yeah. I mean, I could have done that. I also thought about doing that. But for some reason, I do not know why my boss like to rotate me in different roles. We are still under the same department, lithography, but we have different processes. So one day I'm focused on this, the next period I'm that, and then I even do like what people will think that is undesired job, like defect monitoring and all that. But I just didn't care. I just felt like really fun that I can learn different stuff. I guess that is really the thing that helped me to get the job as the first employee, because my bosses at that time would have thought that a generalist, yeah, and the willingness to learn and openness, like that means not rejecting certain path, is what they are looking for, because they wouldn't know. I mean, as a first employee, I could develop myself into any area. Probably that's what they also thought, that they would want me to grow in different areas. That's why coming in with an open mind and willingness to learn, and I don't really complain. I just do whatever they tell me. Maybe that really helped a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's also a fine line because, you know, again, like from someone looking from a different perspective, especially like, I mean, let's be clear. There's nothing wrong with choosing to specialize. There's nothing wrong with choosing to generalize. It's the path that's suitable for the individual, for that person at the time. But, you know, for other people looking at the way that you approach that you're even willing to take on the undesirable work, you know, it can be viewed as exploitation. But it's up to the individual to decide what their boundaries are and, you know, what to them gives them fulfillment and the ability to thrive and being able to do, you know, whole system access and explore all of that. That was the way that you thrived, and that's how you were able to grow as well in your career
Yep.
as a generalist.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so I guess that helped because now I look back, right, as co-founder of ConnectingDNA, generalist really helped me a lot. Yeah, I had to be good at tech.
Everything.
I mean, not in depth. I'm able to understand, but I can't code. Yeah. And then I need to know sales, although I am not good. Again, I'm not good at sales because I was an engineer, but I had to do sales. Yeah. So I had to, like, I mean, be able to, um, I mean, generalist is,
Adapt.
yeah, adapt. Yeah, I think that's the correct word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Adapt, find solutions. Yeah, I think that's another thing
Yes.
that's important. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like it's you're able to be flexible in order to achieve the outcome that's desired. And you know, you can't do that with rigid thinking. You have to be able to think outside the box. You have to be prepared to get your hands dirty to be able to
Yes.
do that sort of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So moving on from that. So from Illumina, you know, from our previous conversation, you took what I thought a lot of people would consider a risky kind of decision in leaving a secure role. So can you
Ah,
tell me more or tell us more about what happened there that led you to explore this entirely different non-traditional path?
so I've been with Illumina for 15 years, yeah. And during my time there, I did a lot of different transfers from USA to Singapore, from to Europe, and then I also explored China plant, the Illumina Shanghai plant. It was great. The company is great. The whole fun stuff was great, learning new things, doing different things. But deep down in my heart, there's this inkling feeling, kind of like a little voice in my head, that I really want to do business. Initially, I didn't know why, but now that I look back, I think it's really because of my mom. When I was young, I mean, before she passed away, she was actually doing business, and she's really, really good at it. She will always, like, during the bedside, I mean, before I slept, she'll share stories and all that, like difficulties, but how she overcome it. So probably because of that, I felt that it's something that I want to do. And at that time when I was thinking about leaving, I was already in my like late 30s and 40s. Yeah, I felt that if I don't do it now, then when will it be? There'll be more inertia, more financial burden, and yeah, kids and all that. So one day I just made a decision to yeah, let go of something that I really like to do a lot, which is Luna and the technology transfer, and just yeah, left without a backup plan. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's such an incredibly frightening and terrifying move to make because, we're so used to this idea of job security and financial security and, even this economy or otherwise. It's a big risk to take to be able to move somewhere without having a safety net. So, how did you prepare yourself for that leap?
I think the first thing is really the mindset. So when I first got this inkling feeling, I actually spoke to a lot of people. Actually, the people that I spoke to, they are all employees. You see, so I didn't really get very far. So there was one turning point, right, where I actually spoke to this guy. It's actually my friend's brother, lah. He's been in business for like decades. And then one day when I spoke to him about like my inkling feeling and all that, he told me, why don't you just take the leap of faith? Yeah, I mean, you can definitely prepare. Of course, he told me I need to prepare financially, like, yeah,
Be
find people.
practical.
Yeah, be practical. I did that. But he said that if you really have this inkling feeling and you feel that you do not want to like look back one day and regret that not trying this, then just go for it. And I asked him why. I always remember I asked him why. He said that because if this is what you really want to do, you'll be driven by an internal force, yeah, to find a road to success. So I think that this was the turning point. And then I also realized that the people I spoke to were all employees, and this guy was the first one that's a business owner. So therefore, moving forward, I tried like networking. It's really scary that you were always like in the lab and all that, speaking to people you're familiar with. Now you just like throw yourself into a networking and you do not know who you're speaking to. But I did try that, and I thought that, that's fun. Yeah. And then I spoke to more business owners, and they shared to me like how their business are running. Of course, they will always share the bright side and all that. But the more I get to know certain people, they will share with me their challenges. And I thought, like, I don't know, maybe overconfident. Yeah.
I could
So
do that.
I thought, that would not happen to me. Those kind. Yeah, actually, that's nonsense, okay? It happens to everyone. so, so
Hubris.
yeah, exactly. So I like suddenly had that confidence. Yeah, so I think that when we do business, people always ask me like, should they be a founder and all that. I always say that for first thing, when you're old and you look back, will you regret not doing business? That's the first. Second thing is, do you have the sudden urge, be it a push factor or pull factor, that you want to leave? If that feeling, that sudden urge comes, do it. If not, you will never do it. Yeah. That's what I usually tell people when they ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if it's such an important thing, if you look back and regret not taking the opportunity, whether it's entrepreneurship or a job that, is completely outside of your normal, scope of skills and experience. Now, if the opportunity comes along and you look back in time, how will you feel about not having done it? And that's, it's a strong motivating factor because so many times they talk to people who are, close to end of life or, in retiring or leaving or, they're closing chapters and they talk about regrets.
Yes.
And it's one of the things that's the most common because it's human. It's such a human thing to have regrets.
Yes.
So, yeah, looking at that motivation to see, do I have enough of a push to try this new thing that's unexplored? But, also, as you said, if you're talking to other employees and you're trying to leave an employee environment, they're not going to give you the perspectives that you need that will
Yes.
allow you to think broadly about what the opportunities are going to be. So you
Right.
need to talk to people in a range of different environments, in a range of different situations, not just the one you want to go to, not just the one that you've just come from, so that you have enough information to put together a plan for yourself and understand what the risks and the rewards are going to be. You're doing a little SWOT
Exactly.
analysis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that it is important to speak to a wide variety of people, like age, demographics, different career, because they give you different perspectives. And then it's about us sorting out what aligns with our purpose in life.
And it is about purpose and belief and your values and what matters to you.
Yeah, I believe that every person that we speak to, they will, I mean, trusted people, they will give their best opinion to you. They will not harm you, they will give you their best opinion, but just that maybe they themselves are, for example, employees, their best opinion is just in the employee field. Yeah.
Yep.
So this
It's
is
their
something that,
experience. You're drawing from their experience. And
right.
that's what's limiting as well as enhancing, because you're getting these very specific views and you're being able to, create this bigger picture of what things look like in from different angles. So not only did you take the leap to, start entrepreneurship, but you also didn't have an idea of what sort of entrepreneurship you were looking for. Or did you have an idea of what you wanted to create?
I thought of doing nutrition. In fact, I studied quite a bit into nutrition before I left Illumina. Yeah, because of my like health issues when I was young. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I do what I like. Yeah, be paid to do what I like, right? Yeah, to have your passion. So I studied nutrition, specifically one of the science called nutritional immunology. That means nutrition for our immune system. And then I yeah tried like giving talks, which I actually gave to many corporates, and that's where I gained my confidence. I thought that was enough, and so with that like how to say that bag of confidence I carry with me, and then I went ahead. I left the company.
That's incredible. So, how did you get from genetic analysis and then nutrition now to, I guess, DNA analysis for holistic view of health?
So genetics came from my time with Illumina because they are a DNA company. So I heard a lot of stories, good and bad, both of it. Then after that, because of my own like health related issues, I went to study nutrition. Then as I was like coaching people on nutrition, like what they should eat for their health, I realized that nutrition is just one part. Actually, it's our holistic lifestyle. That means our sleep, our exercise, our nutrition, and also emotional health, stress, and all that. All these must come together. So I needed a holistic solution because I was doing the nutrition business. I didn't know how to grow business because I'm not a business person. Yeah, after being an engineer for 20 years. Yeah, so my friend told me I should like join a business community, a networking community, which I did. And over there, I knew that I wanted a holistic solution. So I went around to talk to like different business owners, like they were therapists, they had their own therapy company. I also spoke to like fitness company, the trainers and all that. So I like formed collaborations and all that. So then after that, I got to know my business partner, my current business partner, who is the solo founder of Connecting DNA. Then I thought, hey, Connecting DNA being a wellness platform and also genetics, is really the holistic solution that I'm looking for to help more people age gracefully, have more effective prevention in a holistic way. So then I spoke to him in depth, really a long time, and we started working together where I supported his company in terms of like helping to build his platform, bringing like clients to him, and then we work together so that I can offer people holistic solutions. But I think the more I worked with him, I think he also saw that my addition to the company could help Connecting DNA grow. So we worked out like agreement. So then he invited me to join as a co-founder to Connecting DNA. Yeah, so that's how I moved from Illumina pure genetics to my own interest nutrition to knowing that I want a holistic solution, and I got to meet my current business partner, and then that's where we grew Connecting DNA together.
At this point, when you look back at your path, you can see how one thing led to the other and the way that the skills developed to allow you to take the next step. And all the way through, it's about technology transfer. And it's about, yeah, being able to create those connections, to be able to adapt the technologies, to be able to also facilitate your own health in the way that, you know, few people would be able to say my work to directly helps to support my goals for health and my well-being.
Yeah, so I mean, when I look at it, hindsight, it looks like a straightforward path that one led to another. But during the time that I was
It was
transitioning,
not.
it's so scary, I literally tried everything. And at that time, if I had known like the right mentor to reach out to, things would have been easier. But it
Yeah,
wasn't. It was really a lot of like trying to figure your way out in a dark cave. You see some light, but you're not sure whether you drop into some puddles or some pitfalls and all that. So that period of transition was scary, yet it's very essential for every journey.
stage. Yeah,
Yeah, that's worthwhile walking.
absolutely. Like, I can't imagine having walked the path that you did in terms of your career and not being terrified at every single transition. Like, that would have been, I, again, I agree, it would have been so exciting, but each one is a frightening transition that leads to this incredible growth. But it only feels better when you look back on it as opposed to when you're living it.
Exactly. So that's why I always like to share my stories with people around me because it was really not easy. So I hope that whatever I can share with them, they shorten the path of trial and error.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And, you brought up an incredible kind of point about that as well. Like, making it less terrifying would have been to talk to other people or find
Mhm.
mentors and, broaden your experience with what other people are doing in the area or even adjacent to the area so that you have a better understanding of where you fit amongst where all of the other things fit. And that probably would have provided a bit more security.
Exactly. I think the most scary part is you don't know what you don't know. Yeah, that's very, very scary. So talking to more people, they share their stories, and you will know that, oh, this could be a potential pitfall. Okay, let me try to navigate it. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, of course, as you said, like all these, you go in saying, oh, I know it's going to come. I'll make sure it doesn't happen to me. Something else
Mm.
will happen. And then you
Yes,
just have to work
yes,
it out.
yes, yes. That's why solution driven and positive mindset, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. As long as you're always looking for a way to solve the problem, it's not going to be as frightening as going in completely unprepared.
Yeah, I guess it's this period of time that I really read a lot of books because you really at the wit's end, because like you talk to people, they are not bringing you anywhere. But when you read books, of course, now there's ChatGPT. In the past, I read books. Yeah, so I have a different perspective of what I should do next. Yeah.
And it's just piecing all the little extra bits of knowledge that you gather together to be able
Yep.
to, create that strategy as loose as it might be.
Yep.
So on that journey, have you actually solved or at least worked towards solving your health and immunology problems?
Oh, I did. I did. I
Oh,
did.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. So can you share
Yeah.
that?
So
That'll
when
be awesome.
Okay, so when I was young, I had a lot of problems. I had like sensitive nose, I had eczema, skin-related problems, and I have gastric. Yeah, these are like my friends. They are always, just like my shadow. These are like my friends. They are always with me. It's not life-threatening, but it's really very irritating. Like you always have to like make sure, for example, eczema, you always have to bring along your lotion. If you don't bring along, it feels as if you didn't bring along your cell phone, kind of feeling.
It's a lot of baggage, literally, to carry with you. Yeah.
Exactly. So, how I eventually solved my problem wasn't through the medical way because I tried almost everything, all the medical solutions. How I solved it was primarily really lifestyle. Yeah, I did nutrition total change. Yeah, I knew what I needed to eat more, what I needed to eat less, and I just ate according to what my body needs. Then after that, when I knew DNA, then I did a DNA test. That was more definitive. Like my body needed more iron because it couldn't absorb it well. So I had to take more food that is high in iron. So I did all these deliberate things for like a couple of years, 2 years at least. And yeah, it was really beneficial because at the end, when I go for my health checkup, wow, suddenly, first time in my life, it was all green, no more red. Yeah. So yeah, I also felt really, really very, how's it, no more lethargic, no more feeling cold. People low in iron, the finger and toes feel very cold. And
Circulatory and yeah,
yeah,
everything's just not quite right for that. Yeah.
yeah, correct. So when I finally like came out of that, right, it really felt like I was a new person. Yeah, I didn't have to like feel cold. I didn't have to lug around all the creams and all the whatever sprays that you talk about. It was just, wow,
Liberating.
really liberating. Yeah, I live a new life. So I was like really happy, and I knew that this is the way to go. And I needed to let more people know that how they should eat properly, and then they can use DNA test as a guideline. Yeah.
It's being able to keep yourself more informed about your health and wellness because, as you said earlier, it's all connected between, your mind, body, and spirit. All of that is
Mm,
connected to create what it is that is your health. And you
exactly.
can't just fix one and let the other bits go because everything's still out of balance. So,
Right.
giving yourself as much knowledge as possible to be able to make the right choices for you is
Mm-hmm.
so important. Like, not just for your career, not just for life, as we've been talking about with your journey, but in terms of being able to make choices for your whole well being.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and going in depth to learn actually helped me to understand. Like in the past, right, I would think that certain diets are bad, like pure carnivore diet is bad, keto is bad. I mean, that was in the past. But
Yeah.
now I see in a different light where you really need to know your body
Your
type.
physiology and your type. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, maybe if keto will be suitable for one person, but not suitable for the other. Yeah, so we just need to choose the right approach for ourselves. So not only for nutrition, also for fitness. And ever since I worked connecting DNA, I met so many different therapists, psychotherapists, physiotherapists, hypnotherapists, all the different coaches. Then I realized that even in the therapy world, you need to know what's suitable for your own body, yeah, your own spiritual, your own, yeah. Then you can really unlock your potential.
And this is really what personalization of health is. It's being able to understand your own body dynamics, your own body chemistry,
Mm-hmm,
and what your individual person needs to be
mm-hmm.
able to be healthy and to thrive. And
Yes.
none of these solutions out there will be a one size fits all just
Mm,
because we're all different human beings and we're all,
exactly.
different environments, different everything. And we need to be able to remember to tailor that to ourselves.
Yep. So because of this experience, right, now Connecting DNA platform is built to be a very personalized uh, wellness buddy. We want people to be able to find solutions that are really for them, yeah, so that they can really design, yeah, the life that they want. And yeah, the whole family will be happy. I think that the most precious thing in life is actually the laughter, the happiness, and the peace in your heart. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, you can only have that by knowing what options you have and what choices you have and being able to make those on your own,
Mm-hmm.
but supported with information. But the
Yep.
choice is still ultimately yours. And the way
Yep.
that you shape those decisions
Yep.
is, entirely up to you. And you
Mm-hmm.
have complete freedom of will to do that.
Yeah. Design the life that you want. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So, but yeah,
Mm.
I think that's an incredible, view into your journey and the way that, you've been able to, even though it wasn't clear at the time, shape your life to be
Mm.
able to create an environment where, you're able to not only feed your personal well-being, but you're also able to feed your mind and keep yourself, thriving and
Mm-hmm.
learning and growing with all the
Right.
skills that you've been able to pull with you through your life. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. I guess for a lot of us, we all have the same goal that we want to make the best out of this lifetime. Just that sometimes we just need a bit of guide. Yeah, whether is it a data-driven guide, whether it's a mentor, human type of guide. Solutions are out there. We just need to be open enough to find the solutions. Where connecting DNA, we try to put wellness solutions together, but really is the client whether they want to.
Yeah. The onus is on the individual to be able to choose what they want to bring into their life and how they want to incorporate it. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Ee Ting, for speaking with me today about your journey. I've loved learning about more about your path. And, one of my favorite things is learning about indirect paths through life because They're fun, they're exciting, they allow you to grow and innovate in ways that are unexpected and surprising. So if people would like to know more about what you do and Connecting DNA, where can they go?
They can go to my LinkedIn, where the link, will be there. You can click on my LinkedIn to like read stories, or you can just go to connectingdna.com.
Amazing. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Ee Ting, for speaking with me today. I have really looked forward to this, and I look forward to, hearing more about your own journey as we go on.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you so much, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your afternoon.
Same to you.
If you enjoyed this conversation, please let me know. Subscribe to this show, leave us a rating, and share this with your geeky or geek curious friends. You can also support Steam Powered on Patreon under Steam Powered Show, the link for which will also be in the show notes. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.